Let's head to a sodden Waikato. Can I say that? I just have, and catch up with Hayden Dillon, who's a managing partner and agri-specialist at Crowe Horwath, their accounting partners here on the country. And Hayden, you've got some things to say about rural-urban divides and water quality and all that sort of drama we're facing and we're going to have to deal with today and tomorrow as we vote as a nation. But I want to start, if I can, with just how wet it is in the Waikato at the moment.
Yeah, wet. I talked to the sort of the old timers who have been around a lot longer than all of us, and they're telling us it's the wettest they've ever seen it. We just have had no chance for the rain to disappear. So even when we had a couple of nice days yesterday, but it still managed to rain overnight, or still somehow managed to rain during the day again. It is really wet, and it's not helping anything with pasture growth and trying to get stock cycling to get them in calf, or even in the old thoroughbred industry, we're trying to get mares cycling as well. So it's a really bad start to the season. And I understand we had our average annual rainfall in July for Waikato, so we definitely need some dry weather.
Well, Fonterra come out with their annual result on Monday, and we'll be covering that live here on the country. It'll be interesting to see what they have to say about milk volumes, because some people are suggesting, Hayden, that if it stays cold, well, not so much cold, because we've got a heat wave coming our way, that's the good news, but if it stays wet and pasture growth is slowed and pastures are pugged and cows aren't cycling, whatever, that it may push up the price of milk to maybe $7.
Yep. Well, it's we actually have got a bit of warmth here, but you're right. It's the quality of the pasture we're getting because it's been so wet, and then actually even like you say the pugging. So we're a wee way to get things back on track. So we're well behind already. So yeah, exactly. Production has to fall, doesn't it? So that's the outcome. It's a supplementary that's getting fed as well. So there's a lot more supplementary being fed for this time of year. That may have an impact later on around inventory levels. And the cost of that too. So,
you guys at Crowe Horwath have put out a bit of a press release, a media statement. I just want to read one sentence, and I don't know whether you wrote this or not, Hayden. It's very well put together. Maybe someone else did it for you.
Someone else, yeah.
A ghostwriter. The quality of water, soil, and the environment are major issues. Of course, we're talking about the election here, and to solve them and not destroy the country's largest revenue earner in the process will take cooperation, thoughtful policy, and a willingness by all parties to achieve this goal. Honestly, you've summed it up, Hayden. Well done.
Yeah, thanks. We can end it there. It was that easy.
How do you make it work? How do you put this into practice?
I guess we're trying to take the angle of, obviously representing the rural clients, and we talk about that rural-urban divide. And I've been reading a few articles in the Herald and the way the media works. It's not just the media. We get a lot of bloggers and so forth. So I think what we've learned from this election cycle is that as rural New Zealand, we're going to have to lift our game in terms of how we communicate and having our facts at hand and actually getting a bit more modern around how we tell our story. Because if there was one thing that really came clear was there was a lot of information that we all sort of took for granted that urban New Zealand probably wasn't aware of. You probably saw fed farmers and Dairy NZ doing their very best because it got a lot of attention, trying to explain the actual amount of work that has been done, that this issue just didn't appear last week or last year. It's been on the radar for some time, but the science behind it and the ability to measure it and fix it has been a long time coming, and we're still working through it. So we've got to constantly keep telling our story and constantly keep telling people what we're doing. That's probably the biggest thing that came out of this, because without it, then people are filling the gaps. And that's our challenge, really.
And the message has to be positive, and you have to be proactive. I don't want to sound like a kumbaya here, but look, honestly, I was all in favour of the farmers having a protest in Morrinsville, but some of the rhetoric, especially when mainstream media got a hold of it, turned into a negative in what should have been a positive exercise.
Yeah, and I think that's, I guess, the way social media works, whether it's a Twitter or a Facebook, whatever. It'll be one picture or one thing that's said will become the highlight. So as rural New Zealand, I guess our challenge too is that we still have challenges. We still have poor practices in various parts of of our business, like any industry. Our challenge is that it's the exceptions that'll become the media story. And so we have to work, and we'll be judged by the negative story, not by the 99% of the popular story. So we have to work twice as hard within our industry and supporting each other to make sure that we're constantly getting our message across, and we're constantly holding each other accountable to make sure that we're meeting standards and we understand the facts and we're able to communicate those. So that's the other challenge. Like you say, Morrinsville was a good example of perhaps where one exception or a nice picture becomes the story.
Hayden Dillon, Managing Partner and Agri-Specialist. What a great title that is at Crowe Horwath. Always appreciate your time here on The Country. Keep up the good work.